Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news takes us to Johnston County. Highway 42 was shut down for several hours. A crash in the clearing phase, but we're still seeing some lingering delays. I'll let you know how to get around it.
A deputy shooting, what the Johnston County Sheriff's Office told us after midnight about what led to shots being fired, leaving a man seriously hurt.
And dramatic changes in our temperatures today. We were in the 70s and 80s yesterday. How about some 40s and 50s this afternoon? I'll also show you our chances for rain.
Spreading sickness. The number of flu cases in North Carolina is rising quickly. What's behind the spike and what you need to do to stay healthy. Also, the update we expect from the state today about the spread of the virus. Straight up 6 o'clock, those numbers are on the rise. We've got some other numbers that are dropping the bottom right out of them. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Renee Chu. Welcome to your Wednesday, where we're dealing with weather whiplash. We knew about this. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, with the temperatures out there right now, are going to be the warmest we'll feel all day.
Oh, what a change. It's hard to give up what we had yesterday, right? All that sunshine, warm temperatures, but the clouds have started to roll in. The reason for this is the direction of the wind. Our wind is coming out of the northeast, so that's coming off the North Atlantic. It's chilly, it's damp. Yesterday, it was out of the southwest, so it was nice, tropical, warm air mass. It's 44 degrees right now, which is not terribly cold to start the day. But the thing is, we just won't get any warmer really than that. It's 37 in Roxborough and South Hill, 47 in Fayetteville and Clinton. Elsewhere, we're in the low to mid 40s. Temperatures this morning range from just a couple of degrees cooler to about 14 to 15 degrees cooler in the north. We also have the chance of a little light rain, mainly around lunchtime into the afternoon. We can see just a few patchy light showers. Our hour-by-hour forecast keeps us in the 40s all day long. So what a huge change from yesterday. But I'll show you why temperatures could creep back into the 60s tomorrow, Ken.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. I wanted to let you know, update a story that we've been following for the last hour or so. There was a crash on Highway 42 near Woodhaven Lane there in Clayton. Even though the crash has cleared, we're still seeing some lingering delays in that area. So really and truly, if you're still concerned about it, I know many of you use Highway 42 as a way to come in to go to work or an appointments. Highway 50 Benson Road is probably your best bet in terms of an alternate route. But I'll continue to keep an eye on that. But right now, we're not seeing any major delays on any of our major routes from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, which is good news, especially if you're about to head out. Tune us in on the radio. Heading into the car, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
Breaking news we're following. After 4 a.m., the Johnston County Sheriff's Office cleared the scene of a shooting. You see it on the map here. A man is badly hurt. 2 deputies are on administrative leave coming out of this. It happened in the area of Brightleaf Drive near Clayton just after 10:30 last night. Nick Perlin joins us from the Sheriff's Office in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Nick, that man who was shot is expected to survive.
And Jeff, we do know, despite being expected to survive, that man does have serious injuries. We're at the Johnston County Sheriff's Office, though, right now, trying to get more information on what led those 2 deputies to fire their guns late last night. We do know that they received a call from that man saying that he was having some sort of mental health crisis. Now, I want to take you to this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. This is from around 10:30 last night, and you can see here crime scene tape blocking off this home here on Brightleaf Court. And we also know that you see the deputies here as they were investigating. This home is right outside of Clayton, and the deputies tell us when they arrived here, they found a man who they described as suicidal. At some point, that man left that home and ran out the back door to a construction site. And that's when the 2 deputies fired their guns. We know that the man was shot, taken to the hospital with serious injuries. He is expected to recover, which is the good news. At this point in time, though, we're still working with the deputies to find out what led to this shooting. As we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. Live in Johnston County, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
South Main Street in Wake Forest is back open this morning after a motorcycle crash that killed a woman. Police say an officer tried to stop the rider just before 9:30 last night because the motorcycle had no license plate. The officer says the rider sped away. The motorcycle then hit a vehicle at South Main Street and Windsor Drive. The impact threw the rider off the motorcycle. She died from her injuries. Her name has not yet been released. South Main Street was closed until after 1 this morning as police investigated.
New this morning, 2 men and a person under 18 are in custody after a basketball game at East Wake High School. Deputies also recovered a gun from campus. The Wake County Sheriff's Office says deputies used pepper spray to break up the fight. 18-year-old Malachi Parker and 19-year-old Amari Battle were arrested and charged. Deputies got a report of a gun on campus and found it in a vehicle. A juvenile was taken into custody as well. Juvenile petitions are expected to be filed. No major injuries were reported.
Today, we'll learn how the flu is spreading in North Carolina. Health officials say the number of cases is spiking. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from UNC Rex. And Laura, hospitals in the area say COVID and RSV have already peaked, but not the flu.
Renee, good morning. It was exactly a month ago when healthcare facilities such as UNC Health here behind me began implementing those visitor restrictions because of a surge in respiratory viruses. They were calling it a quademic. The good news here today is that RSV as well as COVID cases are trending down. However, those flu cases are soaring. Take a look at this middle graph here on your screen from Duke Health. On Monday alone, Duke Health had 146 new cases of the flu. You compare that to about a month ago on January 4th, and that number was only about 36. And UNC Health is also reporting a sudden surge in flu cases. Their lab shows between January 25th to February 1st, positive cases climbed about 200. And last week, WakeMed had more than 1,000 positive flu tests with 39 hospitalizations. A month ago, it was only 679 flu cases with 28 hospitalizations. So I spoke with Daniel Park. He's the medical director at UNC Health's Pediatric Emergency Department. He describes how this season compares to previous years.
And the timing is very similar to pre-2020 flu numbers, although the amplitude or the height of the curve is a lot higher. So we are seeing more cases this year than we did see prior to the pandemic. But this seems to be a very intense flu season.
So he says if you are experiencing those flu-like symptoms such as fever or vomiting, it's important to get tested and stay home. Of course, he also says that it's not too late to get that flu vaccine to help prevent the spread of the virus. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Raleigh.
Time is 6:07 here in the WRAL Live Center. Keeping my eye on that breaking news situation still unfolding in New Albany, Ohio. This is about that shooting in which one person was killed and 5 people were injured. We now have a look at the suspect this morning from local police there. This is Bruce Reginald Foster III. He is a suspect that's been identified, but police say this person has not been caught. Now, I want to show you some video from overnight that kind of shows you exactly how investigators were first there. But essentially, this happened at a building in which cosmetics were manufactured, and the person who was killed was found inside that building. Investigators are saying this appears to be a targeted attack, and a firearm was recovered from the scene. But in terms of the motive here, that's not quite clear. So what I'm going to do here in the WRAL Live Center is keep my eye on this situation, and I'll look for more breaking updates to report here.
Today, an Apex couple will make a court appearance, charged with abusing a 3-month-old baby. Karina and Ronald Robinson are each facing 2 felony counts of child abuse. According to arrest warrants, the baby has a broken leg and a broken rib. Both Karina and Ronald Robinson are being held on $1 million bond.
The ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas may be in jeopardy after President Donald Trump said the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and send Palestinians who live there to neighboring countries. Here's what Trump said during a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent.
This is what Gaza looks like after months of war between Israel and Hamas. Trump suggested Palestinians in Gaza should be permanently moved to nearby countries like Jordan and Egypt. He says those countries want that to happen. The foreign ministers from 5 Arab nations sent a letter to Secretary of State Marco Rubio strongly opposing any plan that would move the Palestinian people off their land. We talked with an expert on the region, Duke professor Bruce Gentleson, about the proposal.
First of all, it's not a Donald Trump property to decide, what kind of development should be there. It's a Palestinian property, and the Palestinian people want to be able to rebuild their homes. They want to be able to have jobs and schools for their kids.
Jenelson says it's also possible the next group of hostages set to be released by Hamas will not be released after this. President Trump has cast doubt on how durable the ceasefire deal is, saying there are no guarantees peace will hold.
Today, we'll get a new look at data about crime and discipline in the state's public schools. The State School Board of Education will examine reports from the 2023 and 24 school year during their meeting today. Data from the 2022 and 23 years showed incidents of crime and violence went up substantially from the year before. And that year's report also showed a racial disparity in discipline. Today, the board will look to see if there's been any improvement. Their meeting starts at 10 this morning.
New this morning, Breeze Airways is launching 5 new nonstop destinations from RDU, where you're looking live right now. The low-cost carrier will begin service to Pensacola on April 30th. Then on May 9th, it will start service to Memphis, Orlando, and Rochester, New York. And on June 5th, service to Albany, New York begins. Each flight will only be available on certain days of the week. You can book them starting today.
You can share your input today on how to make Raleigh's streets safer and easier to navigate. The city's holding a meeting at the Green Road Community Center from 4:30 to 7 tonight. Raleigh's Safe Streets for All plan is designed to eliminate serious crashes in the city by 2045 and make safer and more accessible public transportation.
A fiery rescue.
I said, we got to get out of here.
Only on WRAL, hear from a state representative who saved a North Carolina woman from a burning home.
And don't expect packages from China or Hong Kong anytime soon. The U.S. has suspended shipments. We'll tell you what's not affected. That's next. And a lot cooler today than it was yesterday, Elizabeth.
Ooh, big effects with the weather. So warm yesterday. Today's going to be chilly and damp. We're going to see the potential for some light rain in the afternoon. I'll walk you through it on Futurecast coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14. Temperatures are in the mid-40s for most of us heading out the door. And that's not an unusual temperature for this time of year. You know, we're not down near freezing. But here's the thing. Yesterday, we hit nearly 80 degrees across the viewing area and actually 80 in the triangle. And the temperatures are going to hold in the 40s for the rest of the day. It's cloudy out there. We have the potential for some light rain this afternoon. So we have the top of the tower lit in green. Heading out the door, we're seeing the clouds rolling in. Temperatures are in the mid-40s to start with. But that's what we're going to end up with as well. Also, as we get through the afternoon, especially after lunchtime, we'll see some patchy light rain that starts to develop. None of that's likely to be very heavy, but it might put you inside. Yesterday, so many people in my neighborhood exercising outside with low 40s and some drizzle this afternoon. You may be inside, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening right now. We're going to take you outside and give you a live look at I-540 and I-87. Traffic has definitely picked up, moving nicely in both directions. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at. Very little to no delays whatsoever. So that's really good news if you're about to head out and on major roadways are part of your morning commute. Similarly, in the Bull City, zero's running wild. So wherever you're headed in the Bull City using those main routes, you'll get there on time. And of course, Jeff, I'll have an update in the next few minutes.
This is something about a commute right here that we want to talk about only on WRAL. State representatives' normally routine drive to Raleigh turned into a dramatic rescue after he noticed smoke coming from this mobile home. State Representative Dean Arp was driving on US 1 in Richmond County when he spotted that danger while his wife, called 911 and he rushed inside the burning mobile home there. Inside the thick smoke, he found a 77-year-old woman in a wheelchair. Arp rolled her out just minutes before that fire fully engulfed the home.
We prayed after we got her out. The family are believers, and they were just crying and just so grateful because they didn't hear her.
Wow, so lucky. The fire destroyed the woman's house, but Arp says he is working to help her recover what she lost, and she is alive.
Yeah. All because of him. Yeah. Amazing. The U.S. Postal Service has temporarily suspended all inbound packages from China and Hong Kong. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here now with what this means for your packages. Michelle.
Yeah, Renee, if you shop at Temu or Shein, this could affect you. As of today, the U.S. Postal Service is suspending acceptance of packages from the Chinese and Hong Kong postal services until further notice. The alert posted to its website did not give a reason for the suspension, but the announcement comes the same day the U.S. enacted a 10% tariff on all Chinese goods. The executive order also terminated the, quote, de minimis exemption, which is a long-standing rule that allowed anyone to ship packages worth less than $800 to the U.S. duty-free and without needing to undergo inspections. The Postal Service says that the flow of letters and those large envelopes referred to as flats, those will not be affected.
Hundreds of Mexican National Guard agents are in Tijuana right now to support U.S.-Mexico border operations. The mobilization is part of the agreement to delay a 25% tariff on Mexican imports. The country agreed to send a total of 10,000 National Guard troops to the border to stop drugs, particularly fentanyl, from moving into the United States. The U.S. promised to work to stop the flow of high-powered weapons into Mexico. Super Bowl 59 will not include the message "End Racism" in the end zone. It's been there since 2021, but this year the phrase "Choose Love" will replace it. NFL officials say that phrase is appropriate in the wake of recent tragedies like the terror attack on Bourbon Street and plane crashes in D.C. and Philadelphia. The other end zone on the other end of the Super Bowl field will have the phrase "It takes all of us." I want you to take a look at this video from Kathy Roberts. She sent this in. This is video taken in Raleigh of the Starlink setting off last night into the night sky there just after sunset. Perfect sky to see that. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We're glad it was clear out there. We saw lots of different views from this.
Yeah, we did. Lots of great pictures. We appreciate you sending those pictures to us. Interesting, at this point, we keep seeing these launches and they're so cool to see. But almost 7,000 of these Starlink satellites have been launched and are up in space now. So interesting, definitely. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill is courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. We've seen clouds rolling in everywhere. Big changes today. Yesterday, we were in the upper 70s to around 80. We had a flow coming out of the south, moving right here into North Carolina. Today, totally different story. We're seeing our wind coming out of the northeast, so it will be much colder for today, and we'll see some cloud cover as well. It won't stay that way. We're watching this front here. This front's going to bobble back and forth. So today it's to our south, and we're in the cold air. By the time we get to Friday, it lifts northward again. We'll start to see a warm up tomorrow. But Friday afternoon, temperatures could be as warm as 71. It dips a little farther south on Saturday, so we dip back to 60. And then on Sunday, we could be back up near record highs at 74. Also along this front, we're going to see some waves of moisture riding along it. We'll likely be dry on Friday. Friday looks like a great day to be out. But on Saturday, there could be an isolated shower. Then the cold front comes through late Sunday, and there could be a quick shower along with that as well. Let's talk a little bit more about today in detail. Cloudy skies right now. That's lunchtime. Into the afternoon, 3 o'clock. You can see this light patchy rain that shows up between 3 and 5 and then kind of drifts out of here. There's just a very small chance that you could see a sprinkle or two. 20% chance Thursday and Friday, 20% chance on Sunday, just with that wavy pattern that we'll be in. Look at this, near a record high though for Super Bowl Sunday, 74 in Raleigh, the previous record 75, 78 Fayetteville. We may end up breaking that one pretty easily. There's a small chance for some sprinkles late in the day. Temperatures, of course, are going to be nice and mild for the Super Bowl. After we get past Sunday, where it's going to be nice and warm, we change our pattern up again. Monday and Tuesday, it looks like a more significant change. It may last a little bit longer, Ken, back to, more winter feeling conditions.
It is North Carolina after all. Hey, let's keep it outside and let's start in the Bull City. Give you a live look at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. Traffic is definitely picked up, but moving nicely in both directions. In terms of other major routes into the Bull City, no delays whatsoever to report, which is good news. Here in the capital city, all the major routes are relatively delay-free. Just looking at a couple minutes there in Wake Forest, nothing to report. Just a 1 minute delay in Nidell as well, coming into the capital city. No other incidents to report in Wake County at all. So, traffic is constantly changing, right? So when you're getting ready to head into the car, 101.5 HD3 will keep you updated all morning long.
Ken, thanks. Recovery funding debates. When we expect details on the latest Helene relief proposal that has Governor Stein's original request.
Trump cabinet confirmations, the next steps for RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard after advancing through the committees.
First, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll be back with what's trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
City of Miami Beach has found another fun way to warn people about misbehaving during spring break.
Ken Smith here now with what's trending. Ken.
You know, Jeff, clearly somebody has a sense of humor when spreading a serious message, right? The City of Miami now using a parody of a reality show to share the rules about spring break.
You're drinking in public, that's not allowed. This speaker, that's not allowed. Rule after rule after rule.
Me to do. I don't want you to do it.
Well, interestingly enough, Miami Beach says it is not interested in being a spring break party destination.
I don't think it's up to them.
Yeah,
exactly.
That ship has sailed.
They come short of saying, hey, go to Fort Lauderdale. That's what that's for. But they did another version of this last year where they did that breakup. They were breaking up with spring breakers last year. They did that was. Hey, they are original.
They had it. Listen, a musical duo trending this morning. Dolly Parton will be part of the new deluxe version of Sabrina Carpenter's breakthrough album, Short and Sweet. They're teaming up on the song Please, Please, Please. It comes out on Valentine's Day.
You know, you made it big when you are collabing with the Dolly Parton. But Sabrina Carpenter is coming off a breakthrough year, just blockbuster, just won 2 Grammys. And so she said she's releasing this deluxe version of her album as a thank you to her fans.
We do thank her. It came out in
Bonus
August,
track,
went right to the top of the charts.
Love
Good
it.
stuff. Ken, thanks. Today, Duke will launch its new Center for Community Engagement. A day-long event will celebrate the opening at the Durham Convention Center. Duke President Vincent Price and Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams will speak.
New data today about crime and violence in schools. What it's expected to reveal about your child's safety in the classroom.
And of course, you know it's going to turn a lot colder today. We also have the potential for some light rain during the afternoon. I'll walk you through Futurecast coming up.
And breaking news out of Johnston County, what we have learned after a man was shot by 2 deputies, what the sheriff's office says happened moments before those shots.